From the mountains, we descend to a settlement built in a wide valley. Outside the village here, maple and ginkgo trees are changing colour with the coming of autumn. As the days pass, the trees between the fields turn yellow, orange and red, as if in celebration of the harvest season. The rainy season ends in October, and the long-awaited dry and sunny autumn weather arrives in the village of Changkan. No time is wasted by the locals who lay out baskets filled with a variety of crops. Sun drying is a common sight in southern Anhui. Locals use the same method to preserve different foods throughout the year. They include bamboo shoots in spring, eggplants in summer, and cured meat in winter. During the process of drying, moisture in a foodstuff evaporates, and this makes it impossible for bacteria to survive, slowing the onset of decay. In addition to its mountains, southern Anhui is also famous for its waterways. Here we see a local on his skiff teaching the cormorants he has raised how to fish for him. Fishing with cormorants is a very old tradition among waterside people in southern Anhui. With their differing characters, some of the birds are easier to manage than others. Now he must wait to see what his companions have caught. With the local people enjoying a more abundant life than their ancestors ever did, success is not so important these days. Fishing is really just a hobby for them now. The water level and flow rate of the area's Chenyi River are ultimately determined by rainfall. Floods and droughts used to be common here, but through the building of a dam in 1982, what was a very unpredictable river was used to create today's peaceful lake. For rural life in southern Anhui, water is a constant theme. The entrance to this village is a narrow path across a lake. Around the outside of the village, the settlement's perimeter is also a lakeside path. Inside, a channel for water runs along almost every alleyway. In the heart of the village is Moon Pond, the largest pool here. Water channels connect every household. In fact, the entire community is a web of waterways. Among the white walls and black roofs of their houses, locals have constructed clan shrines. This is a region of clan culture. Communities of interrelated families live by village codes that have been handed down through countless generations. In areas of dense housing, people tend to pay more attention to fire safety. Locals here see fish and water as inseparable. During the traditional Lantern Festival, giant illuminated models of fish are paraded around the village as a symbol of the protection provided by water. Fish-shaped lanterns have been a tradition in Wangmantian village for over 6 centuries. Big and small, male and female, old and young, the lanterns sway and roll, bringing ancient blessings to thousands of households. Outside the village, farmlands and trees merge together in a patchwork of different hues of green. These various shades of green, however, are about to be interrupted by a different tone altogether: white. The white we see here comes from locally produced paper, considered by scholars and artists to be the best in China. Harvested in bamboo baskets, the bark of locally grown blue sandalwood trees is the most important raw material of Xuan paper. After initial treatment, it's left on a paved slope to be exposed to sun and rain for a year. The process for making Xuan paper involves no fewer than 108 steps, and they must be followed faithfully for genuine top-quality product. Once finished, its soft, fine texture will be the inspiration for thousands of calligraphers and landscape painters. With little arable land for agriculture, mountainous southern Anhui became a center for the production of scholars' supplies in Imperial China. Xuan paper was shipped from here down the Xin'anjiang River, along with locally produced Xuan writing brushes, Hui ink sticks, and She ink stones. At the end of their journey, the products were sold in the prosperous coastal provinces of Jiangsu and Zhejiang. The merchants engaged in this trade became known as Huishan, named after the region's historical name, Huizhou. During the Ming and Qing dynasties, they became well known for their business achievements in the Yangtze River Delta area. The Xin'anjiang River winds its way past mountains enveloped in mist, picturesque hillside villages, fields of yellow canola, across ancient dams, and past wharves. Along the way, it takes on several different names before finally entering the East China Sea as the Qiantang River. Next, we'll sample natural local products from the areas to the north and south of the Huai River. We'll see sweet fruit growing on the former course of the mighty Yellow River, as well as medicinal roots with a sea of flowers blooming above them. China's great breadbasket will be caught in the heat of its harvest season, along with a water town seeing its growing fields turn into lakes. Pears grown in Dangshan County, northern Anhui, have been famous since the 14th century. Covering more than 6,000 hectares, an accident of history deposited the ideal soil for their cultivation. More than 8 centuries ago, the great Yellow River breached its banks and suddenly changed course. It ran south through this area for over 7 centuries and then finally left. The river brought with it millions of tons of silt, perfect for the roots of pear trees. While the Yellow River is long gone, its former bed can still be discerned today as a broad swathe of pear blossoms. Seas of flowers are a common sight in Anhui. In contrast to Dangshan's white pear blossoms are the massive pink Chinese peonies that bloom in Bozhou City every spring. Peony roots are an active ingredient in traditional Chinese medicine. They're used for nourishing the blood as well as treating muscle spasms and a variety of other symptoms. In the past, when flowers grew too dense, farmers routinely cut them because they competed for nutrients with the peony plant's more valuable roots. Today, however, there's demand for peony flowers themselves. Their petals are collected and made into essential oil and balms, and they're a new favourite on the market.